This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So I was talking with Matt the other day, and he was telling me the story about this roofing company where they were on the roof. They have it 90% demoed, and then all of a sudden they get a call from the neighbor, and they're like, "What are you guys doing over there?" And they're like, "Well, the homeowner said we were supposed to remove, we're replacing their roof." They're like, "Are you sure?" And so then the foreman or whatever calls to confirm the address, and they are on the wrong roof. Crazy. But luckily they ended up, making it right, and they ended up saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going to install this roof for free. Just please don't sue us." It became a marketing thing. But man, that is a crazy story. Free roof for free. It reminds me of what is that? When you're at Starbucks and somebody buys you a cup of coffee, and then you buy the person behind you a cup of coffee. What's that called, John?
Yeah, you pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Yeah. So in the studio today we have Jon Loveland with Loveland Roofing, and man, they are just a super cool company. We've been working with them now for a few months. And John, tell us a little bit about what your story, real quick.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, Johnny. It's funny you say that because that happens in the roofing industry. And
how often?
It probably happens a little more often than people would like.
Okay.
We've done that, but not the same way. We actually had a similar story where our guys pull up to a house, they start tearing off the roof, and when you tear off the roof, usually all the roofs in the neighborhood are in the same condition, so all of them should be torn off. And so the guys start tearing off the wrong roof. They were tearing off the neighbor's roof, but luckily, to be honest, both of the neighbors were on our schedule.
Okay.
And so instead of us, having to really, shuffle, it was more of a, "Oh, hey, by the way, guess what? Now you're at the top of the schedule because we started it today."
Yeah, we just want to prioritize you.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Free priority.
So Loveland Roofing, you guys have been around for a long time.
Yeah, we have. We've been around for over 42 years. I'm Jon Loveland. Loveland's our last name. It's kind of funny. Sometimes people say, "Hey, where'd you get the name from?" No, that's our family business. My dad started it, Mike, and
Wow.
and him and I own it together now, father son. Yeah.
Got it. So, I mean, there's a lot of realtors out there in the world. There's other roofing companies out there. What is it? What can you give us some examples of things that you've done where you've helped people maybe beyond the scope of what a typical roofer would do?
Yeah. I'd say the biggest difference, at least on our side of things, is maybe the customer experience. In the roofing industry, it's a little sad, but it's true. There's a stereotype that roofing contractors are maybe not exactly trustworthy, or maybe a grimy, sketchy kind of industry. No one in kindergarten really says, "I want to grow up to be a roofer one day."
Yeah.
It's hard work. It's very, very challenging. And us, Loveland Roofing, we try and break that mold. When you mentioned that, I thought of this really nice client we had over in Auburn. Her name was Pam. This was just maybe about a year ago. She called us, and I didn't know it at the time, but we were like the fourth or fifth roofer that she called. And she knew she needed a new roof. And a little bit about Pam, it was a little sad because she's an elderly woman, and she's a recent widow. Her husband just passed away about a year ago. And so she's on a very fixed income. And then on top of that, her mother moved in with her. So now she's taking care of her mother, who's obviously older than she is. And so she had a lot on her plate, and obviously the roof is not one that she wanted to add on to it. So she called us. We do, in our house at Loveland Roofing, we do a 50-point inspection for free. And so it's very detailed and comprehensive. And so when we went out there, she was just thrilled because, we look at the roof 360 degrees. We look at all the wood, the flashings, everything you can kind of imagine. And our reports are very detailed. And so when we sat down with her and went over all these things, she said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for just going in the backyard," because 2 other roofers I called, they didn't even look at my backyard. They just kind of looked at the roof for 5 minutes and then went on to the next one. And
Really?
And she said, "Because I had a bunch of damage back there. Nobody noticed it. I had all this dry rot." Which, obviously in the real estate world and any homeowner world, it's a big issue. Dry rot's a big issue. She was just thrilled working with us. And really the funny part of Pam is when we sat down with her in her house, for those radio listeners, maybe not seeing in person, our company's purple. It's a lot of purple. I'm sitting here in the studio with a very purple shirt on, and our trucks are purple. Our tools are purple. It's really kind of goofy on purpose.
You guys roll out the purple carpet.
Yeah, that's our thing, the purple carpet. And when we walk into Pam's house, her house is purple. She's got purple shag carpet, purple like lazy boy recliner, purple pillows. She was just love at first sight for her. It was so funny, but yeah, really the kicker there that we tried to do kind of a different customer experience was, as I sat down with her, I told her, average roof ranges, 20 to 40 grand, and she's telling me about her fixed income and her husband who just passed away. And I said, well, hey, you can finance this. We can. There's a lot of options. You can do this or this or this, and we're kind of talking through it together. And then she just starts to cry and she starts to break down, and she said, "You can finance a roof?" She's like, "That's a thing." She said, "You're the fourth roofer I've called. No one's brought this up to me. I mean, I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford 30 grand for a new roof, but I need it." You look on her ceiling and there's just water coming in, damaging her home. But she said, I can afford $100 a month. I can do that. And that was a really kind of humbling experience for me personally too, because, we're all human. Even though we run a business and we're trying to help people, it's important to know that people have struggles and that people need help sometimes. And so it was a fun time with her to be able to be that person to give her that help.
Man, that you bring up such a good point. I was on a phone call the other day, actually last night, with a real estate agent, and she's looking to get in the industry. And I'm asking her, okay, so what about it? The industry is attracting you to this? And she said, well, my parents bought a house. And then they were eventually foreclosed on. They had tons of equity in the house, but they didn't even know to call a real estate agent. There's a language barrier there. There was just a lack of information. And if they had the right information, things would have been totally different for her family. So she's like, I want to make sure I'm getting in the industry and providing people with the correct information, which sounds like exactly kind of what you're doing.
Yeah, we're very big into educating our customers. Our reports are like 20 pages. They're extremely transparent. I
love your reports, by the way. Yeah. They're easy to read. The red light, yellow light, green light thing.
Yeah. We do like kind of an urgent, recommended, and then you're okay zone. Red, yellow, green, and that's kind of our thing too. Education, knowledge is everything, and when you know about your home a little bit more, then it gives you the peace of mind you need.
Yep. So how did things end up playing out with Pam? Was she able to get the roof on?
Yeah. We after we talked, we got her scheduled for the roofing project, and we got everything fixed for her. She had quite a doozy of a home that just hasn't been maintained for probably 10 plus years. And so it had a lot of damage that kind of accumulated over that time. But yeah, we got her all fixed up and got her a new roof and got her everything she needed. And she was thrilled. And yeah, still is today. Wow.
And so that was just a person living in the home. That wasn't like they were going through a real estate transaction.
Yeah.
You guys handle that as well, right?
Oh, yeah, all the time. We work with hundreds of real estate partners, property management. Honestly, we have a whole division of our company who just does that all day, every day. And so, yeah, that's a big part of buying a house. And me personally, I've bought a couple houses in my time, and the roof is a big kind of ticket item to make sure if I'm buying this house, is it going to be in good shape?
So do you guys provide roof certs when you go out?
We do. Yeah. We give that free full inspection, that 50-point inspection, which really tells the new homeowner, hey, this is what you're walking into. It's very transparent and educational in nature. And then, if they're able to get kind of an extended warranty, that 2-year roof certification gives them a little bit of peace of mind to say, hey, okay, we're moving in, we're unpacking, don't got to worry about the roof for at least a couple of years.
So when you're working with somebody who's going through a real estate transaction, what are some red flags? What are some stories behind things that you've seen working with real estate agents and just going through that process?
Yeah. It's overwhelming for a new buyer because there's a lot of stuff on that list that they need to punch through. So a lot of customers, and I would recommend it, they do a home inspection, and then that home inspector they try and look at every inch of that house top to bottom, and then tangentially to that, they'll oftentimes get a roof inspection and a pest report, termite report, looking at some of the things like foundation and woodwork, framing, things like that. And it's a lot on their plate. So we try and simplify it, and we try and streamline that process as best we can to say, hey, this is the home you're getting. Yeah, maybe it's 20, 30 years old of a home, but it's still a great home. That roof is 80, 90% in great shape. Here are some things you should pay attention to, because if the next rainstorm comes, this is the thing you want to really focus on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are so you mentioned that were you talking about a pre-list inspection, or were you talking about like in escrow inspection?
Both. We do both. I would say pre-list helps the most.
Why is that?
At least for the seller, they can really get their home and their roof and their pool, whatever it might be. They can get everything ready so that when a buyer comes in, there's no surprises. Like, that's always the worst. If you're halfway through escrow and then you find all these reports and they owe another $5,000 on damages or something,
Man, that's the thing that we're hitting really hard with our clients right now.
That happens.
Do the pre-list. And in many instances, we will even pay for the pre-list inspections, the home, pest, roof. Like, I got 2 going right now: home, roof, pest, and pool. Yep. Right, and the reason why we do it isn't because like we have some secret back end deal with Loveland Roofing. It's because it's going to net them more money. It's going to make them more money. In the long run. And so So what if someone wanted to reach out to Loveland Roofing? What's the best way for them to do that?
There's a lot of ways. The fastest, easiest is pick up the phone, call the office. But we're very tech heavy in our company. We're 99% digital, so people can text us. They can even FaceTime us. Sometimes that happens. Email, real easy. Even on the website, contact form on Google and things like that.
But, speaking of Google, just Google Loveland Roofing.
Yeah,
right? Google them. You'll see they have tons of reviews. How many reviews you guys at right now?
Yeah, we're this week we're hitting the 500 mark of 500 5-star reviews. So that's kind of fun for us.
That's exciting. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.